What is going on, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fly Zone where the multiverse meets the seventh inning stretch. It's your boys Trent and CJ, and today's destination is the Spider-Verse. We're going to be breaking down episodes 3 and 4 of Spider-Noir. And if you enjoy this video or this kind of content, please hit that like button and that sub button, as it greatly helps the channel. And also don't forget to check out our shorts content, as that is our video's best and funniest moments. And also really quick, for these breakdowns of Spider-Noir, CJ and I will be watching 2 episodes at a time, so this is our second watch. And then after, we'll be talking about them, breaking them down, and then giving our theories for what we think will happen in the following episodes, as well as for the rest of the season. So, without further ado, let's get into episodes 3 and 4. I gotta say, I thought episodes 1 and 2 were pretty action-packed, but 3 and 4 just kicks it up another 2 or 3 notches.
Yeah, 100%. I thought they started off the show great, and each episode it feels like they're getting more and more focused, and they're upping the stakes even more. And it's been a really exciting viewing experience so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the second half of the season.
Yeah, same, because if they're already killing Winston off.
Yeah, I thought that guy was going to be around for a while, and they took him out in episode 3. Spoiler alert, but yeah, that was a huge decision.
Yeah. Spoiler alert after the spoiler.
Yeah, whatever, you know.
So, episode 3. This episode opens with our main 3, and man, I love how much fun Lamorne Morris is having with this role. Like, he's very charismatic, but also like his character is very smart and intelligent, and I just love what he brings to the story.
Yeah, he's so great, man. I thought he was such a good casting for this role. He's super funny in times where we need like a comic relief, but he also has like a lot to do with the plot, and he's furthering the story along, and he has that serious side of him as well. So yeah, I think he's been doing a great job, and I love how much screen time he's been getting, because he's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he's been a really pivotal role in finding out some major clues for Ben to add into figuring out what's going on with everything. And one of those things is getting to look at the army photo with Pyro Guy, Addison, Sandman, and Tombstone that Ben found at Sandman's apartment last episode. And Ben points out an interesting detail in this photo, that the units that Tombstone and Addison served in were segregated. So this photo is not just a regular photo, but instead we find out it is a POW rescue celebration photo of all the guys that were rescued. So perhaps these guys all got their powers while they were being experimented on as POWs.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was a really good attention to detail there, because given the time that the show is taking place, they would have been segregated in the military at this time. So I'm glad that they explained it in an understandable way, like this. They were all captured and they were all rescued together at this time. I thought that was a really good way to tie it together. And we get some sort of hints that these guys got their powers around that time when possibly getting experimented on. There's a great scene later on with Janet, Robbie, and Tombstone that kind of digs into that a little bit more, or hints at that a little bit more. And I think we'll be getting more of that within the next couple episodes, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, we definitely got to see a lot more from what the Doctor has done to these guys. Unfortunately, not Doc Ock, it's Dr. Favor, but it's okay because it still might work out in our favor.
I like that.
Had to do it. But Robbie, he also recognizes Tombstone in the photo because he met him last episode, which then sends him off to follow up with Tombstone with more questions. One of them being,
"Hey, brother, you see what the black motherfucker about this time?"
Such a funny line, bro. Like, there's not much cussing in the show, but that was a great moment for it.
Yeah, it's added in good moments.
Yeah. And when Robbie actually finds Tombstone, we get to see him transform and show off some of his powers and what they look like, along with Sandman helping him out fight as well. And I thought this was a really interesting watch, because at first he really did try to just de-escalate the situation, but instead him and Sandman just ragdoll a bunch of cops. And honestly, well deserved, because why is the mayor sending hits out on impoverished citizens? Like, they literally barely have anything, and you want to take them and send them elsewhere? So, you know, I'm glad that they defended the neighborhood, and that Robbie was able to capture some sick pictures of it too.
Yeah, 100%. That was a really great scene. I mean, yeah, cops getting sent there to basically raid a Hooverville for no reason. And I like that Tombstone was trying to de-escalate the situation at first, like you said. Like, he was trying to help out his neighbor, get them to leave her alone. But then once they start attacking them, you kind of got to defend yourself at that point. And there were some really great power scenes of Tombstone where you see a cop trying to hit him over the forearm with a baton, and it just shatters in two pieces. And even Tombstone seems a little surprised about it at first, but
What's going on?
yeah, this was a great scene. Tombstone and Sandman fighting back to back, fending off the cops, and Robbie being front row too to get the great pictures for it.
Yeah. And at the same time, Janet has once again came back to work for Ben because remember last episode, Ben cleared Janet and Robbie with Silvermane saying, hey, don't go after them or I will kill you. So Janet's like, okay, fine. I guess it's safe for me to come back. And because Ben did that as the Spider, and also Ben's taken pictures of the Spider in the past, so he's linked to the Spider in a way, Silvermane was very impressed with what the Spider did. So now this, for some reason, puts Ben on Silvermane's list of people he could possibly trust because he was impressed with the Spider and what Spider as a super person can offer. So he thinks that Ben has more to offer. So he's like, I want you to find the rat in my circle because someone had to have tipped off the cops about the booze exchange. So I know it's no longer an outside job. We got to look in, and he's going to Ben for it. That's a really interesting twist. The villain is coming to the hero for help.
Yeah, this is a really interesting advancement in the plot. From Ben being in episode 1, like talking to Donegal, trying to back out of this whole business with Silvermane, trying to stay as far away as possible, and now essentially working side by side or working for him in a way, basically. Like, yeah, it was a really interesting way for them to do this, especially with the way that the last episode ended. I love how many scenes we're getting of Ben and Silvermane already in the show. Like, they're the two main characters of the show, and with something like Daredevil and Kingpin are kept apart for a lot of the time to make those moments where they are together bigger. But this has been very different, getting them with so many interactions together and so many different moments. I think it's been really entertaining.
Yeah, because it's really cool that Ben has like a dual personality basically, because he's doing stuff as the Spider that's making Silvermane do stuff that's influencing his interactions with Ben Reilly.
Yeah, exactly. Silvermane needs Ben's help with the Spider, but Ben is the Spider. He's both of the people. So like, yeah, it's super, super interesting.
And that's why Ben didn't even want to get involved with Silvermane in the first place, because he knew he would have to do Spider stuff. And now because he did Spider stuff, he's making Ben Reilly be more involved. Like, this is not what he wanted in the first place.
It's so hard to live an actual life as a Spider person and like not just be the Spider the entire time.
Yeah, it's very bad. So Ben's working for Silvermane now. I did say last episode Ben needs to figure out how to get paid, but this is not what I had in mind.
Yeah, at least he's getting a source of money from somewhere, but it's not a very safe place.
Nope. And Ben figures out that Silvermane marks all of his bills, and he does it differently depending on who's receiving the money. So let's just keep this in the back of our heads as well. So Ben heads down to the hospital because his first task with figuring out who is the rat is figuring out who tipped off the cops about the booze exchange. So he's going to see if one of the cops did it. So he's got to pretend to be Officer Batnick. Whenever Nick Cage pretends to do a bit and pretend to be like someone else, he's so hilarious. Like the way he said,
Been there, see? Orders are orders, see?
It's so good, man. Yeah, anytime he plays like a caricature, he goes all in on it and he commits so hard and it's so great. The further he goes in this scene, the more outrageous his accent gets, just putting it on thicker and thicker. Hey, I'm looking for this guy, see, huh? It was so great. It was so entertaining. I mean, I've said it several times, but like, he was such a good casting for this role.
yeah. And you guys can say I'm stretching here, but I'm willing to say that the inspiration for the name Officer Batnick came from two places. One, Nick Cage, his name is Nicolas Cage.
See?
So that's the Nick. And then Nicolas Cage in the movie Kick-Ass played a character that looks just like Batman. Officer Batnick.
Honestly, that sounds like it's probably it. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. Officer Batnick, say.
We need I could get a whole spin-off show of just Officer Batnick going around and investigating.
Same. So Officer Batnick finds out that the mayor was the one that ordered the booze bust. And then later on, that Cat Hardy was the one to approach the mayor earlier in the season as well. And the mayor is also trying to end prohibition, which would kill Silvermane's business. So that's definitely a conflict of interest for Cat Hardy to be meeting up with the mayor. So when Ben clocks that, he meets up with Cat to clear the air, figure all that out. And they flirt a little bit, and then he reveals that, yo, I'm trying to find Sandman for you, but Silvermane also hired me to find the rat. You're the rat. So,
Yeah, it's a tricky relationship for them right now, man. Like, they have a really interesting thing going on where, like, they've very slowly but consistently been like showing signs that they have like a romantic interest in each other. But Kat also cares so much about Flint, and they have something going on. And she wants Ben's help to find Flint, but also Ben is supposed to be taking her to Silvermane. Basically, he knows at this point that she's the rat. He's figured it out. Rat Hardy. That's who she is. So he's he's got to make a decision, and I'm sure he's very conflicted.
yeah. And also, she doesn't like that Ben Riley took the job from Silvermane because, come to find out, she fucking hates Silvermane. She does not like how much leverage and control he has over her life, and she's just becoming increasingly interesting as the show goes on. Like, we get more and more layers as to what's happened to her and why she feels the way she does, specifically about Silvermane and also some of the other people that she's met in her life.
Yeah, 100%. She keeps getting more and more integral to the story, and I really don't know where they're going to go with her character still. Like, there are a couple different avenues they could explore, but yeah, I really like her talking about her relationship with Silvermane and how frustrating it is and how much she hates it, but she feels like she's stuck. And like we've mentioned it before, once you're working for Silvermane, that's probably going to be your last job. You don't really get to just walk away from it. And Silvermane feels more like a man when he gets to control her and tell her what to wear, tell her where to go. Like, she just feels trapped.
Yeah. So when she finds out that he's working for Silvermane, she kind of makes him leave, basically, or they end the conversation not on the best terms. And as Ben's leaving, he runs into Winston. And man, I love watching Ben Riley talk some shit. He's so good at it. Looking for some cheese, you rat?
It's so good, man. I love it so much. He's so charismatic when he's trying to be friendly, and when he's insulting and when he's being antagonistic, he's also so charismatic and entertaining. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. So Winston knows Ben's a decent PI, so he pays Ben some cash to give any info on who the rat could be so that Winston could claim the finding. So Ben keeps this cash in the back of his pocket and the back of his mind. And upon the rewatch, bro, the zoom in on the mark on the bill was so telling on how important it would be later. Like, on first watch, I was just like, I haven't seen them use that transition before. But now I'm like, oh, they were yelling at me on what I should have been looking for.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting rewatch experience. I was kicking myself a little bit for that. For
I
sure.
was too.
I was yeah. I mean, the first time watching it went by like pretty fast, and I thought it was just like, oh, okay, it's a noir show. They're doing like old school transitions, but no, it was very particular. It was very intentional. And yeah, like you said, they were kind of yelling at us to pay attention.
Yeah, so after we transition, everyone meets back in the office and they all fill each other in on the info that they've learned. And Ben decides the next step forward is to warn Addison's wife about Cat Hardy being the rat so she can save herself, since Cat paid Addison to do it. And Addison's wife has been spending the cash on all these luxury items and stuff. And no good deed goes unpunished, because she wants Ben to pay her another 1,000, which, keep in mind, is around 20,000 in today's money, for her to leave town, because she threatens Ben to tell Silvermane that Cat is the rat Hardy, and to get the money from Silvermane, because Silvermane is the only one who actually has access to $1,000. Like, she's so greedy for this.
Yeah, she's definitely asking for a lot here. Obviously, she knows that Ben needs her to get out of here, so she kind of feels like she can't ask for a lot. But yeah, especially for Ben, who has been turning down essentially every job up until this point, putting together $1,000 is not easy.
Yeah, his rate's $10 a day plus
Yeah,
expenses.
that would take a while.
So basically, Ben agrees to do it, and during the day, he meets with Silvermane at his penthouse. And while they're talking, he secretly webs the lock so that it stays unlocked, so that later on in the night, pulls off sneaking the $1,000 out of Silvermane's safe and does it in Daredevil fashion as well, which I thought was really cool. And plus, dude, when those goggles turned on, oh my God, I nerded out so hard. Like, I didn't think they would have that high-tech gadgetry in the 30s. Kind of reminded me of the Night Monkey suit in Far From Home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man, when he turned those lights on, it was so cool. Like with how 1930s this show has been and how like old school it's felt, just that one moment of like very comic booky Spider-Man was so nice. That was super cool. And I love that he can use his Daredevil senses to pick the lock of the safe to get out. And mind you, while all this is happening, Ben still has people that are stalking him and trying to keep notes on him. So Ben has Franklin dress up in his clothes, just standing in his apartment window, just pacing back and forth. So those guys are just looking at Frankie, pretending to be Ben while Ben's doing all this great stuff. It was such a great scene, man.
Yeah, that kid has been a great casting.
Yeah, man. All of the main characters are awesome, and the supporting characters are really awesome. Casting all around has been great.
Yeah, 100%. And I also thought that the interaction that Ben had with Silvermane before he broke in as well was also very well done. Not only was Silvermane very much heavily underestimating Ben and what he has to offer, while also being very accurate with how the universe works, kind of in relevance to what's been said in the Loki show. Like, there were a lot of parallels with the universe in the multiverse. Like, there were a lot of parallels there. And then Ben also just playing mind chess with Silvermane on who the rat is. Like, do you know who the rat is? It doesn't matter what I know unless I can prove it. Like,
Yeah, it's so good, man. Just so many great interactions. This was another great scene between them. Ben like telling Silvermane, "Don't be emotional. If you find out who the rat is, you can't be emotional," because he knows in the back of his head that it's Cat, and that's gonna crush Silvermane probably. But still doesn't know if he's gonna tell him. He pretty much knows it's Cat at this point, but like you said, he can't prove it.
yeah, exactly. So before we move on, I cannot drop the fact that when Silvermane woke up and could have possibly seen or heard Ben, that Ben's first thought was to crawl on the ceiling closer to Silvermane into his bedroom. Like, I do not know how Ben managed to silently get into Silvermane's bedroom and why he thought this was the safest place to go, the one room where him and all of his goons are going to be and are running to. This is my one small gripe with the episode, but I cannot let it slide. I do not understand why they chose to make him crawl into the bedroom.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting too. I think they probably just wanted to show him hanging upside down on the ceiling, and they had to figure out a way to do that. But like, yeah, you're trying to hide from Silvermane, so let me go to his master bedroom where he just walked out of and where he just woke up from. Yeah, that was an interesting decision from Ben, but you know, it worked out in the end. He made it up.
It's fine. It's just, if you're gonna have him end up on the ceiling in the bedroom, have him be in the bedroom when Silvermane wakes up. Don't have him be in the other room and then crawl his way in
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like he's invisible. But I digress. And around the same time that this is happening, we also meet up with Robbie, who's giving his photos and story to the Bugle. I love that the Bugle's in this universe too, you know, just a nice little piece of Spider continuity. But they're actually going to end up printing his story. So I'm happy that at least now he gets a dub, but it's really unfortunate that his story gets slandered as much as it does, because he did not report on these guys to be monsters. Like, they are veterans who have had tragic stuff happen to them, and he was trying to just get exposure to that. But of course, no, all they can focus on is the powers and the damage that they're capable of when driven to that point.
Yeah, this was super unfortunate for Robbie, man. I mean, like, gets a job back, he gets his own article approved, and then they just lie about it and use his content and use his name and just lie about it. And framing these guys as monsters, like Robbie would not say that about these guys. That's not how he would describe them. He is trying to go out to learn from them and have them tell him about themselves, and for them to label themselves to him. but the Bugle is labeling them for them. They're saying they're monsters. They're flipping the story completely. It's, yeah, just really bad look for them, dude.
Yeah. Plus, I really respect the show not hiding away from the subtle racism that people like Robbie had to endure from people during this time, because I feel like we're often shown very dramatic examples of racism, the angry mob or immoral cops, segregation. So, respect to the writers for not being afraid to show like the subtleties and the reality for people like Robbie and how it can make them feel.
Yeah, they don't have to go super over the top with it. It is more subtle, something that he probably would have had to deal with like on a daily basis, most likely, and just kind of ignore it and not really have the opportunity to like stand up for himself or make it a thing because of the time that he's in. Yeah, it's something he probably would have had to go through a lot. And I can appreciate that the writers decided to add that in.
Yeah, totally. And later on, Flint returns to Cat Hardy, and man, honestly, their relationship at this point is pretty tragic. Like, Silvermane and also Sandman's powers are just complicating everything. Flint hates his powers, and he doesn't think he can have a normal life because of them, and he leaves the episode until the next one. But I know this is kind of messed up, but I thought it would have been hilarious if while they were kissing during his transformation, she would have been like, and just like spit out some sand.
That's an interesting aspect of Sandman that they haven't really explored anywhere. Like, what is that like for him?
They did it one place in No Way Home when Sandman sat on the couch.
Oh yeah, they did. That's right. Yeah,
Like, sorry. And then he just adds more.
that was yeah, that was a good scene. Okay, yeah, that was great.
But
Yeah,
besides that, yeah, we haven't really seen much of like how Sandman's normal basic life is affected. Like maybe outside of when he tried to grab like the little locket of his daughter.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I feel bad for them, man. They really care about each other so much, clearly, and they have this like fantasy of a life that they could live together. But that's really all it is. It's just fantasy to them because Flint doesn't feel like he's deserving of it or doesn't feel like he can handle it because of what's happening with his powers and the control that Silvermane has, and he literally runs out of the episode and runs out of Cat's life for now.
Yeah, very unfortunate. So the following day, Ben gets told to meet up with the mayor, and that the mayor wants to meet up with the spider so that the spider can work for the mayor and start doing jobs for him, starting with Silvermane, because the stuff with Silvermane's getting out of control. Like, there are just so many conflicts of interest going on right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And like, I like how everybody knows that Ben was like the main photographer of the spider when he was in town. So like they kind of correlate the two of them together. So like, if anybody knows where the spider is, it's probably going to be Ben. And he does know where the spider is because he is the spider. So like he can't like reveal this to them. So he's got to live this double life.
Yeah. So when Ben leaves the mayor's office, he gets told by Frankie that Kat's gonna dip to the train station because she wants out of all of this. She's done. And Ben gets to her just in time, but not before they're found by Winston and crew. So they all take Ben and Kat to Silvermane along with Addison's wife. And Addison's wife does fold immediately, says, Kat did it. It's her fault. Hands the money that she said that she got from Kat to pay Addison to kill Silvermane. And the money that she hands him is marked the same way Winston's money is marked. So now this makes it look like to Silvermane that Winston paid Kat to pay Addison to do it. Crazy.
Yeah, this was a very interesting turn of events. This was a really cool twist. They did a pretty good job with like, before Ben outright said that he knew that Kat was the rat, they did a good job at like kind of making me guess if it really was Winston, because he was acting pretty sus for a while. He said straight up, like, I could have killed you if I wanted to, if it would have benefited me. So like, for this to happen, I mean, such a smart move by Ben, framing Winston in that way was just such a great ending to the episode.
Yeah, 100%. It was very satisfying. It was like 5D chess. It was insane. And Ben faking the mark on the bill to frame Winston is also made 10 times better when you remember that while Silvermane was hiring Ben at Ben's office, he told him, remember, people lie, Riley. Only money tells the truth. So Ben crafts a story on the dollar that only Silvermane would believe due to Silvermane's ideology as a character. Like, the show's writing is amazing.
Yeah, just written so well done. Winston being the one to hand over the money to Ben, basically handing over his own death note, and for Ben to be the one to write it was so satisfying, man. And I'm like I mentioned at the start of the video, I'm surprised that Winston got taken out this early, but I think they did it in a really good way.
Yeah, I also said last episode too that, some of the dialogue that they had between each other was leaning towards a falling out. But again, I just didn't think it would happen this early. But that's the end of episode 3, outside of a cliffhanger.
You good with a shovel, Riley? Or we'll be needing another grave.
Episode 4, and we find out it was just his friend.
Yeah, it was his crony, his lackey. He just took out both of the guys that were working for him essentially, and now he needs a replacement.
Yeah, and I'm sure things will get sandy when that guy returns.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, so Silvermane is very happy with Ben's performance as he views it, and while he's not fully sure that Kat wasn't the rat, he's kind of believing that Winston was, but he still wants to hire Ben to figure out more stuff because clearly Ben's good at doing stuff. And I love his response to the offer. Well, I'm not a huge fan of your retirement plan.
Yeah, that was such a good line, man. I love that so much. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's smart in saying no. One of the only ones who's been able to say no to Silvermane, and he's smart for doing that.
Even Silvermane thinks he's smart for doing that.
Yeah, he said he was smart enough to say no. It was so funny.
Yeah. I'm also kind of conflicted on Kat and Silvermane's relationship. In my opinion, she just needs to get out of there. It's very toxic, very complicated.
Yeah, it's such a tough spot for her right now, and she tried. She really tried to get out of there. She was gonna run, and she got pulled back into it, and she just feels like she's stuck now. She's got to find another way out.
Yeah, it was kind of sad just seeing her cry in her room.
Yeah, man. I feel really bad for her, and I said I don't really know where her character's going. She could be killed tragically to forward Ben's story. She might be the one to kill Silvermane herself, man. There's a chance, the femme fatale in a lot of these noir movies get a chance to have a moment like that. So I wouldn't put it past Kat to be the one to pull the trigger at all.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool because, as much as Ben Reilly is comfortable with taking bodies, I don't think he needs to add more onto his head.
Yeah, totally.
So we also find out during Ben and Silvermane's conversation that the chief of police is on Silvermane's payroll, but still did the booze raid anyway. So I wonder if the mayor has any dirt on the police chief, since the mayor was the one that gave the order on the booze raid.
Yeah, that could be the case. Yeah, it feels like the mayor is very involved in different parties and probably is one of those people who knows things about different people and uses that against them.
Yeah, and this is also backed by the fact that the chief of police missed his quote-unquote weekly appointment with Silvermane.
Yeah, true. That is a good point as well.
Not good.
No.
So the following morning, our main 3 meet up back at the office. I kind of like how this is just kind of like a starting point for the episodes now. We're just gonna go back to the office pretty early on and reconvene.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like their headquarters where they plan out what they're gonna do and then they go do it. It's great.
Yeah, and when Ben shows up, man, he is utterly hungover. And seeing Robbie make fun of him on his way out was so funny.
Oh yeah, it was so good. Who am I? It was you. Yeah, every time Robbie has a chance to be funny, he crushes it. I love that character so much.
Yeah, his facial expressions are top notch.
It's so good. His grin. Every time he grins at someone, it's just so great.
Yeah, but Robbie is on his way to go find Tombstone and apologize to him for the altered article that the Bugle released based on Robbie's photos and information, while Silvermane meets with Kat at her apartment and presses her about why were you at the train station. And honestly, Silvermane's smart, because I probably would have looked past the fact that she was at the train station after finding out that Winston seemed to be the rat.
Yeah, true. That is a good point. But yeah, Silvermane pays very close attention to detail. He does not forget at all. He is going to keep tabs on everybody that's around him.
Yeah, and he asks a lot of good questions, but Kat gives good enough answers to talk her way out of it, thankfully. And, for now, Silvermane trusts her enough to at least walk away, but things are rocky.
Yeah, they are. But, she lives for now. She was able to get out of that situation, and she kind of backed up Ben too in a way, which was pretty clutch.
Yeah, Very true. And Ben, during some downtime, since he's still recovering from his hangover, he's at the theaters watching a movie. And seeing how much Ben likes watching movies kind of reminded me of Wonder Man and how much he enjoyed watching movies. I love character stuff like this.
Yeah, me too, 100%. I like how shows sometimes can take time to just show us what the main character is like interested in and what they enjoy doing when they're not being the Spider, when they're not being Wonder Man. Like he's a film buff. He likes movies. He's a nerd. It's cool.
Yeah, I love knowing little things like that about my characters. But after the movie, he gets a message from Frankie, our homeboy, to meet with Kat somewhere. So then when he gets to that place, Kat's like, I don't want to talk about what I want to talk about here. It's like, okay, so they go to the theater and they want to get their story straight about Winston, about the train station, and then they don't talk about it at the theater. They kind of just talk about deeper stuff, which it was really fun listening to the deeper stuff, but you wanted to talk about this, but then you talked about that.
Yeah, that was that was interesting for sure. Yeah, I guess she just wanted a reason to meet up with them and talk, and like what we got was great. I really enjoyed what we got. It was some really great character work. But yeah, when Flint shows up and he sees the two of them standing there, he is not well. He does not like it at all. He busts out the door and immediately runs away.
Yeah, dude, he's so high he could turn into glass at this point.
That would be an interesting fight. Like Sandman and the Human Torch. What would the Human Torch do to Sandman? Would he just turn him into glass?
Yeah, and then punch him.
I guess so. Yeah, wow.
Put him in the mirror dimension real quick. But what's also cool is where they meet at is the old theater that Kat used to perform at before Silvermane hired her. And that was also the same theater, seemingly, that Sandman was hiding out at after he ran away the first time. So it kind of makes sense that he would have run away to a place that reminded him of Kat. But yeah, like you said, he pulls up on Ben and Kat talking, and he overhears that Kat was the one that called the hit on Silvermane. And he does not like that because he never knew that. And they're supposed to be honest with each other. And he finds out she's kind of a killer in a way. So he storms out, and now he's back to working for Silvermane as his hit guy. Not good.
Yeah, not good at all. I mean, it's really tough for Flint right now, man. He's going through a lot. And going back to Silvermane is kind of the only thing that he really knows, because like since coming back, he's been that bodyguard for Kat and he's been in this business. So yeah, really tough to see him going back. I'm sure Silvermane is very happy about it though, because I would take Sandman over Winston for sure. I think that's a pretty apt replacement.
Yeah. I'm definitely with you there. And we also learn more about Kat and how much control Silvermane really does have over her life, and how all that control kind of led to her wanting to basically kill him so that she could get out and have a future with Sandman, because she had a relationship in the past and Silvermane killed the guy. So when she fell in love with Sandman again, she was like, I don't want you to die. I don't want me to die. Although, wait, hold up. What's he gonna do against Sandman?
That's a fair point. Yeah, I don't know if he's...
I mean, outside of maybe the like politics and maybe getting a job somewhere, I can understand that. But I'm just saying, I don't think freaking Silvermane could actually physically hurt Sandman.
I don't think so. I think if Sandman wanted to, he could probably stand up to him. But there's like the manipulation of that power dynamic that's keeping him from doing that. And like he feels like he needs Silvermane in a way. So like he almost can't bring himself to do that, you know?
Yep. So around the same time, a lot of stuff is happening around the same time, you guys. This is an action-packed plot. Robbie finds Tombstone and brings him back to the office to talk about the article and to get the real story.
The whole truth.
And I love that Janet picked up that Tombstone was just feeling really shy, not in the mood to talk, and she just offered to play some poker instead. And we don't have to talk right now. That's cool. Like, she's great.
Yeah, man, that was a really great scene. I like that a lot. Robbie being like his reporter self, obviously trying to pry and ask questions about Tombstone and get him to talk, but Tombstone is not in the place to talk right now. He is not really in the mood for sharing right now with the group. So Janet noticing that and, just like playing some cards with him and just like getting him to loosen up a little bit and telling him about themselves over time, their brothers serving in the military as well, Robbie's brother being a POW, which really piques Tombstone's interest. Like, this was a great scene. I loved it overall.
Yeah, I also love that Robbie was actually telling the truth and not just lying to get that trail of answers so that they could relate a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. That was sweet. You know, like Tombstone's in a really vulnerable place right now, so he probably would be able to be manipulated if you're trying to like appeal to his emotions like that. So for Robbie not to feel the need to do that and really share some truth about himself was really sweet.
Very true, very true. And it was also during this conversation that we find out about Dr. Faber. So really cool. Very interested to see what happens with Dr. Faber and what we can find out. I'm sure we'll find out some more stuff about Ben Reilly as well with Dr. Faber.
Yeah, it seems like they're all sort of connected in a way because they're kind of the only ones with powers, at least that we know of. It seems like they're all kind of connected in that way. And after getting the name drop from her, I feel like we're probably going to get some more information about her pretty soon. Maybe even some flashbacks to them being experimented on. Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could go with it.
Yeah, I honestly see it happening next episode.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to happen pretty soon.
Yeah. So we find Ben and Kat leaving the theater to Ben's apartment, and he gives her the whole story on how he lost Ruby. And it's crazy that after Ben went after a guy and locked him up for 5 years, that one guy was like, I'm gonna kill that guy's freaking wife when I get out. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a wild thing to do. For him to share that with Kat is a huge deal because that was a pivotal moment in his life. That was basically his canon event. You know, it's what took him away from being the Spider for 5 years because he feels like she was what he was responsible for and he's responsible for her loss, and now he doesn't want any of that responsibility anymore. But as we see, he's getting dragged back into it and he's kind of getting more comfortable being the Spider again. So really, really interesting character development.
Yeah. Whew, it's getting crazy. But the sadness that they both feel does bring them even closer. And I honestly had a feeling that they would have some chemistry. And by the end of the episode, they kiss. You know, I ship them.
Yeah, honestly, I do like it. As much as I do like Kat and Flint, I love their relationship, but I also like Kat and Ben. I think that they've been advancing their relationship pretty well. They're not like rushing into it, like writing wise, they're letting it breathe. And yeah, when they do have that kiss, it's a very satisfying moment.
Yeah, 100%. So we catch up with the mayor. He's having dinner with the police chief, and Silvermane shows up. I mean, that's like finding your girlfriend having dinner with their ex.
Yeah, this is a tough scene to walk in on for sure. And yeah, Silvermane is not here to play around.
No, because both of those guys are basically in his pocket in a way. But the mayor's like, you know what? I'm done. You're done. I'm not letting you control me anymore, Silvermane. So then Silvermane's like, have you met Sandman? The mayor's like, I have, and I'm not backing down, which is crazy. So crazy that Silvermane respects it. This ain't over. The war's been declared, but he didn't die at least.
Yeah, that was huge. Seeing the mayor just directly stand up to Silvermane, not back down, even when Sandman smashes the dinner table in front of them that they're sitting at. Like, yeah, props to the mayor, honestly, for being able to do that. And pretty ominous line from Silvermane saying, "May the best man live." Yeah, I think that's probably hinting at something in the future. I don't think both of these guys are going to make it to the end of this season.
Yeah, I agree. So back to Ben and Kat, about to have that first kiss. And the radio cock blocks, playing a message saying, hey, superpowered people wreaking havoc in the city. You know the deal. Everyone's used to it at this point. It's New York. So Kat wants to run there because she thinks, oh, dude, this is Sandman. And she thinks she can help calm him down, you know. But Ben, he's got to play the coward card because he needs to change into his spider suit without being seen. And then he heads down there to fight as the Spider. And he thinks it's Flint Marko who's going to be fighting. But no, it is this universe's version of Electro, basically, who goes by Megawatt. Mega what? Megawatt.
Yeah, and this leads up to a pretty cool scene between the Spider and Megawatt. I really like what happens after this, but admittedly, I did not pick up at first that Ben was playing like he didn't care because he needed to get there as the Spider. I thought that he was actually just kind of being an asshole and like didn't care about the Sandman and was just gonna make her go out by herself. But then as he got there in his own way, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, he's okay, it's cool, we're cool, Ben.
Yeah, although kind of get it, because if you're like 40 or 50-year-old whatever Ben Reilly, private investigator, and you know Sandman's downtown, And she's like, come on. What the hell do you expect me to do?
That is
Here's my
also
badge. Stop.
that is also a good question. Yeah, what did Cat expect him to do to Sandman? Shine a flashlight in his eyes or something? I don't know what he read him his rights.
But yeah, the fight is really sick. I did like seeing Ben having to think about how to take this guy out outside of webs and just straight hands. So, since Megawatt uses electricity to power himself, take that away, and you're just left with a schmuck from Queens with a voltage problem.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what he is without his powers. Yeah, this was a super cool action scene. I love seeing what Megawatt could do with like putting his hand like on a puddle of water that Ben is laying on, and the electricity travels through the puddle and electrocutes Ben. I thought that was great. Ben like swings up into a telephone pole at one point, and so Megawatt walks into a telephone booth and grabs the telephone wire, and it electrocutes Ben from across the street. I thought that was super creative. I thought this is a really fun fight scene. And yeah, I mean, Ben, he's got combat intelligence. You know, if a guy gets his abilities from power around him, like Starlight does, you know, take the power away, he's got nothing. He's just a schmuck from Queens.
Yeah, man. Very smart. And not only that, the mayor pulls up and he takes credit for teaming up with the Spider, saying, oh, I orchestrated this whole thing. He Valentina Allegra de Fontaine's the whole freaking thing. And honestly, this could low-key negatively impact Ben, because Silvermane's going to want to ask Ben, yo, why did the Spider help the mayor?
Yeah, that's true. Because, I mean, like we mentioned, they know that Ben and the Spider are related in some way. So if you got questions about the Spider, Silverman's going to go to Ben. And that's going to be a tough conversation for him for sure. He better be thinking of a script right now.
Yeah, he probably will. But at least Robbie got some cool pictures about it.
Yeah, he got some more good pictures. I love his little grin to Ben when Ben's trying to tell him not to take the pictures, and Robbie's like, "No, I'm gonna take these pictures."
Yeah, I got to get paid, baby.
Yep.
So the episode ends with Kat showing up after the fight and kills herself until Ben stops her from landing by webbing her up and saving her, because somehow she knew that he was the freaking Spider, and this was crazy.
This was wild. This was a risk for sure. She had to be very, very confident in her decision that this was Ben. I mean, his powers don't always work too. He just got in a fight. Who knows what's gonna happen, man? Like, wow, for her to take that risk. I mean, I guess she didn't see it as a risk with how confident she was that it was him. But yeah, I mean, I did like that scene, making him show himself to her, because they have been working together, and he hasn't told her that they've been working together. So like, I thought that was great.
Yeah, and it brings them closer together because they kiss, and that's the end of the episode. So we gotta learn about Dr. Faber, and we gotta learn about what's going on with Silvermane and the mayor and the police chief.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting storylines going on right now, man. A lot of interactions that we're gonna have to pay very close attention to very soon.
Yeah, but thank you so much for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. We'll be covering the rest of the season, so we hope to see you on the next one. Peace.